each one with its part in the composition. During the International Festival of Contemporary Music in 2011, at the National Music Academy of Ukraine here, he presented Delta, a work for poetry, music and painting, with live painting, performance and music, and paintress Rosanna Brassato. He had lectures on his microtonal techniques at the university in Lviv and Uzgorod Conservatory. He organizes concerts and cultural events in many theaters and musical centers in the Milano area. He graduated in economics and marketing and is in charge of the cultural department in the municipality of Baranzate.
Yeah.
Also Milano. Okay, that's not Milano. Welcome, Nicolà.
Well, thank you for having me. I decided my intervention to talk a very few words and decided to show my music because I want to represent the difficulty or also the challenge that the composer who decide to abandon tonality and to embrace microtonal music, this new huge palette of sounds. What to say? I decided not to focus on one system instead of the other, 31 notes or 19 notes, but try to adopt all to my personal artistic goals, because we are artists, we have a project in our mind, and so all these systems are only a means to finalize to reach our artistic purpose. We have to communicate something, our idea, artistic idea. Particularly, I have to give you a paper. My latest development in Microtonal is to try to use these palette sounds in order to differently shape this infinite sound universe. Just like our friend of Bavaria who talked about stars, I talked about a different universe. Microtonal permits to see this sound world as different atomic and subatomic universe. Also, I feel very important to have a dialogue with my performers. I have now a lot of people who continuously perform, and you see on the other part of my paper, I asked Ostap to say something. This is important because the performer has an important role in microtonal music, because you will notice I give more importance in the feeling. In my opinion, it's wrong and is a mistake to play microtonal music at the same feeling we play usually Western music. It's too mechanical. It sounds too mechanical. So you must be more likely to jazz, for example, to jazz mood, of course. Also, my way of composing microtonal, but now also tonal music, is like jazz music. I try to figure out what is happening. Really performance playing, really sounds, and the eye rise. I have no scheme, I have no model, but really I try to, in my mind, to see the sound, to hear the sound, to see the people playing. This is important, I think, of course. So now I divided this my intervention in two parts. The first part, Ostap will play 4 short pieces for violin. They are very difficult technically. Is very talented in Microtonal. And the second part, I will show you some excerpts of my music for particular instruments. For example, Fokker organ, thanks to Sander and John Mars, who invited me 2 years ago in Amsterdam. A work for guzheng. Guzheng is a classical Chinese instrument, played by very talented Sin-American performer, and a work for lute. Microtonal work for lute. So, this is really challenge. We can write for infinite variety of instruments. Every work has his own project, has his own challenges. It is impossible to write in a standardized way. And I think this is the interest of Microtonal, of this huge talent sound. So, thank you, and begin with Oscar.
Hello, nice to be here. I'm starting with a piece. It's, by the way, very interesting. Later, I am sure Nicolà will tell us how he finds the titles for his pieces. This piece is called Šćekić.
course I like also in tonal because it's impossible, are Arab, Shagala Arab. So I have a dictionary, Arab dictionary. Maybe Tolgahan is Turkish, I don't know if the same language. But for example, he's not present, but Abel, yes, the Egyptian, Abel, sorry, I remember. I told him the titles, and he recognized because are Arab's name. And I only the criteria by which I choose a name or another name is only sound. I don't know what it is. Only sound. Before I like, of course. And then, because of the feeling of what, I have a look on dictionary. I see the transliteration, what it sounds. Shut up. It's okay for this. So, this is why it's strange, but I think the composers are sometimes a little strange. Okay.
What does the dictionary say? What does it mean?
I don't remember because I never say it. So sometimes it's a problem because I know that my music by YouTube, because there is statistics on YouTube. This music, the word Matsura preferred, it is clicked a lot of times. But I fear that if I should choose a strange name, I would have a fatwa or something else. I don't know, of course not, but I don't know the meaning, or I don't remember. But of course, I choose normal words, normal meaning. I try to choose something strange, but it is the sound. And as you see, as soon as I came, I tried to insert in my language elements of East and Far East culture also, of course. You will see, for example, in Mozarteum East. I will show you a little picture.
So as soon as already Nicolà told us how he finds titles for his works, it is another opportunity also for me as a performer because I always, even playing classical repertoire, was thinking about the idea that not every violin instrument, so we can say about piano the same, or guitar, every instrument has very specific tone, very specific color, and not every instrument is suitable for all range of repertoire. For example, quite obvious that you can play Bach on one instrument and it's suitable for this kind of music, baroque music, but it's absolutely not suitable for Shostakovich or Bartok, very aggressive, very open, very huge sound, especially when you play with big orchestra. And at the same time, when you are coming for classical concerts, it would be strange if you are bringing with you 4 instruments to play on. But music Nicolà Visalì allows me to bring me at least 2 violins. I don't know at all, but I could bring only 2. And as Shah, the name of the title of this piece I'm going to play, for me sounds very similar to shark, animal. And this piece more aggressive, more, I would say, with a character, more evil character. I decided that the sound of this violin is more suitable, so that's why I played violin.
to face, but it's not easy, is the problem of the form of the piece, the form of the pezzo. I think also that Microtonal, our classical forms, sounds no better with Microtonal, with this huge possibility, because you can shape the sound in ways, but how to find a new form? I can't. So I decided to destroy as possible all the form, but it is not easy. So I think that the first attempt must be to destroy, because it's impossible not to figure out new, because also for me is new sounds, new possibility, depends on the instrument, every instrument depends. Now we finish the first part in Furba, the third, and then no much time.
We started later. So
Okay, because I want also to show Zen and other instruments, because the different challenges, different tools, compositional. So cool.
I want also to add that violin, as any string instrument, of course, is very suitable for microtonal music, because you don't have this problem like keyboard instruments that I was talking to Zoran, and Zoran told me that to build not digital, but normal keyboard, microtonal keyboard costs more than 2 standbys. So with violin we don't have this problem, because we can tune very easily and for free our instruments. And now I will tune instruments. And many composers are using from composers during violin history were using microtones, and I'm not talking about Baroque music. Of course, in Baroque it was normal, but returning to Visalì, who was first probably virtuoso violinist, who was using microtones, but not as a structure, but as a color, special color. And now I remember I was taking part in some competition in Vienna, and it was a composer from Czech Republic who also was using, similar as Nicolà does, tuning 2 violins higher, and so it's quite easy to play because you use the same position of the finger, but it sounds higher than that. So it's one of the ways how to solve the problem to play microtonal music in tune.
You can see, depending on how you tune the instrument, in this case, fine-tuning 2 chords, and 2 chords low, your possibility of composition are different when deciding not to tune some chords, or so on and so on. So it's a really very interesting very change. Now I want to show you some F-jazz from my composition, pitch mute. Okay, for special instruments and instruments of Middle East. We can begin with this Mishbak. Mishbak is for Guzheng, so China. She's a very talented performer, Sino-American. She played with the Cleveland Orchestra. It's the third orchestra in the United States, and this concert was recorded in the Milan Conservatory. So only some moments. Guzheng is a pentatonic instrument, so 5 notes. He has the possibility to bend, so I have the possibility to detune or to tune also. So in my project, some chords were fine-tuned, but she also had to, without bending, because bending is like a glissando, so it's difficult, but it's possible, to fine-tune immediately some notes, which I decided to sound Microtonal. with the left hand, she had to fine-tune it when required. It's not easy, of course, because she had to avoid glissando. Now I want to show you this tagliare for Fokker order. So thanks to Sandra Johannes, I have the possibility to play in Amsterdam with this organ. So tagliare. Some extra. So, I will conclude my intervention with this chapter of the piece for Liuto. Liuto, the ancient, it is said to be in Italy to have followed old, old, it is said. It's interesting because it's a very delicate instrument. It's not simple to detune with chords, sometimes at all. So let's listen. Okay, so I think that my time is finished. So I hope that I've given you the idea of it is the challenge of a composer who want to adopt the microtonality, to be always open to all, not to make a mistake, to focus only on once, or to find a system, because it's so huge, so possibility is a pity, no? To focus only on one system. Then try to write for most possible number of instruments as possible, because every instrument has its own characteristics, its own challenge to find new forms for every instrument, and more instruments and more ensembles, and having a dialogue, if possible, with the performer. This is important. This is important because the music must be performed, and as I told you, in this music we have to change your way of performing. So, and the performer must play, not us. So it is important to have his opinion and this dialogue. So thank you very much. And but if some of your composers as interested, because then I in mind, of course, Microtonal violin, I can give you his mail, you can contact him if you want. Because here it's difficult to find at the moment, because this work pieces was also technically difficult. So it's difficult to find a Western violinist with Microtonal here. So who wants, I will give him his arms. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now we have here next to me Zoran Šćekić. He received his BFA in jazz guitar at the University of Music and Performing Arts in Graz, Austria. And as a recipient of Brussels Stipendium 1988, he went to Helsinki to continue composition as a postgraduate candidate in Sibelius Music Academy. And he works as a composer, arranger, and guitarist in the field of improvised and written music. And his works are available on studio and live 6 CD compilation select works in equal temperament. Compilation is a kind of summary of the longer period of playing jazz guitar in duo, trio, and quartet, collaborating with light and stage designers, choreographers, and visual artists in the creation of theatre and film music, participating in jazz and free jazz festivals, music biennale, and writing numbers of works for Croatian national and TV big band, chamber orchestra, big orchestra, consisting of a plucked string orchestra and big band. Within his Microtonal work, he had compositions, premieres in European capitals, seminars on microtonal harmony, and presentation of Microtonal keyboard prototype Z-board, built in San Diego after his construction. He's the author of multimedia project Harmonics, what we have already heard a lot of it, that consists of original compositions for piano and 5 limited jazz intonation, animated movie about the connection between mathematics and music, exhibition of harmonograph prototype, Lira Spectrum, built in Bari, Italy after his construction and seminar based on his book 5 Limited Intervals, Theory and Praxis. Welcome, Zoran.
Thank you all very much. Thanks for being here and for inviting me. As Ms. Petra already said, the base of this little lecture is the book that I wrote 3-4 years ago, I don't remember exactly, and the book is about harmony. So, strictly about harmony, the vertical relation between the tones in just intonation, and this is my main focus with this book. book consists of 3 chapters. First chapter is more theoretical and setting the basis of the harmony. Second chapter is mathematical and geometrical explanation. And third chapter is practical analysis of the pieces that I wrote for piano, tuned in just intonation, retuned in just intonation. Maybe for beginning, it's interesting, somebody could have a question, why 5 limit intervals? Why not higher, 7, 11, 13, and so on? And it would be completely legitimate question. So I will try to answer on the beginning on this, why I chose 5 limit intervals. Of course, I chose it because it's some kind of base for the harmony, and of course the next logical step would be to go to 7 limit, 11 limit, and so on, which I'm doing now. But there is one objective reason why I chose 5 limit intervals in relation to classical harmony, based on counterpoint and so on, and modern harmony, based on 12-tone equal tempered piano. When I say modern harmony, I mean the harmony used in the newest composition and in jazz and so on. So I'm speaking about tonal harmony. The reason why I chose 5 limit intervals is 2 things. Chord tension and chord inversions. And I will try to explain in a short way how chord tension can dictate what kind of interval you need to use in a chord construction. Is it big enough? Maybe I can make it bigger a little bit so that you can see better. Is it now better, huh? So this is the construction of one very simple chord. It's a dominant 7 chord with a tension 9 and tension 13. I'm using jazz ciphers. If you are not familiar with them, it's pretty simple. I use X as any kind of tone, but 7 means dominant 7 chord. 9 and 13 is attention. It's 9. Let's say if 1 is tone C, it would be C dominant 7 chord with D and A, octave higher. So it's a 5-tone chord. And now it's interesting to see. Let's say we speak about C dominant 7. This is tone C, this is tone E, this is tone B flat, this is tone D, and this is tone A. I want to have chord with these 2 tensions, 9 and 13. 9 and 13. If I want to have 9 and 13 that has interval between them, pure fifth, so 2 to 3, just intonated fifth, unfortunately I'm forced to use dominant 7 of 9/16, not dominant 7 of 5 to 9 or 4 to 7. Why? Because only dominant 7 of 9/16 can make perfect third with the tension 9, and in this way I gain here one major chord. It's B flat major chord with a big 7. And I can use this for harmony progression for next chord, and I can use whatever inversion I want from the chord. If I'm using, for instance, dominant 7 of 4 to 7, I don't have anymore here B major chord, and I can't use inversions anymore. It's a little bit similar with the next chord. Oh, sorry. Like this. So the next chord is one alterated chord. If we stay in a C, it would be C dominant 7 with a sharp 9 tension. And here is interesting. Sharp 9, I'm forced to take minor third of 5 to 6. Why? Because I need to respect the big interval of the perfect fourth with the tension, with the dominant 7 of 5 to 9, and with the quint, because the fifth of the chord is here in a difference from this chord. I don't have fifth here, but I have in this chord I have fifth, C, E, and G. If I have G and I want to have minor third with the 7th, I'm forced to use 7th of 5 to 9, not anymore 7th of 9 to 16 or 4 to 7. And then I'm also forced to respect the big interval of the fourth, 3 to 4, and that's why I'm choosing tension sharp 9 with 5 to 12. What I'm gaining here? I'm gaining here E flat major chord, perfect triad, which I can use in the next chord for progression, or I can use every inversion of this chord that I want, which I repeat again, it wouldn't be the case if I'm using higher limit intervals. So 5 limit intervals is because of use of chord tensions and inversion. If I'm using higher limit intervals, 7, 11, 13 and so on, I have to do something else with inversion and work with them differently as from equal temperament. In equal temperament you can use every inversion that you know. Here is the same case, but then we need only 5 limit intervals. And also one little example, again dominant 7 chord, because they are the chords with the most alteration possibilities. Here I wanted to put tension flat 9. So let's say C7, 13 with flat 9, also without a fifth. What kind of flat 9 am I using? I am forced to take flat 9 of very small microtonal seconds, 24 to 25. This is in fact the difference between minor and major third, as you already know. But why I'm forced to take this? To respect the big interval of a major sixth with a third of the chord. If I want to respect 3 to 5 major 6, I'm forced to take 24 to 25. And from this, if I want to have minor third with the 7th to the flat 9, you see, minor third of the 7th and the flat 9, I'm forced to use dominant 7 of 72 to 125. This is 24 to 25 higher than the major 6th. So it's a little bit close to 47, not so much. So here is one example of 3 different major dominant 7, 3 different dominant 7, 9 to 16, 5 to 9, and 72 to 125, only because of the tension in the chord that I wanted to use. Here is 9 and 13, here is sharp 9, here is flat 9. And also the possibility of using whatever inversion I want. I have here E flat major, I have here A, if this is C, then I have here A major, right? A, and fifth, and the third. So I can use many things from one chord to construct the next chord in a harmony progression. As you can see here, a very simple harmony progression in 5 voices. F subdominant, G dominant, and C tonal. For instance, if I want to have subdominant to dominant chord progression, where I want to keep the F as the same note, I'm forced to use here F of 3 to 4. And this F can be in G dominant chord only the dominant 7 of 9/16. If I use here dominant 7 of 5 to 9, it wouldn't be the same F. So that's why this F can be with the legatur. How do you say in English? Binding, yeah. So it's the same F. What it means? It means that the whole area of this study that I wanted to do with the harmony of the just intonation is based on this. Let's say this is 1, everybody can see I go, and this is octave, 1 to 2. I'm thinking in string length, that's why I'm putting 1 to 2. If you think in frequency, you just put it, it's okay. So, let's say here we have 5 to 6, here we have 3 to 5, and let's say here we have 3 to 4, and 2 to 3. This here area, this area, and this area are the areas for microtonal modulation. Everything what happens here, we are forced to define as a second. Minor, major, big second, small second. And inversion of it, it has to be dominant 7. And here is also the area for augmented fourth or diminished fifth. Every interval in between has to hold his integrity. So I can use 4 to 5, but only this 4 to 5, not something here in between. This is area of integrity. And this is what provides me of harmony with all possible inversions and putting different tensions. If I disregard this area and I put 7 limit intervals or 11 limit intervals, I am losing the possibility of chord inversions and these kind of chord tensions. So this is the base of this. And to begin with the analysis, I just wanted to make piece for piano that could be played only on white keys. So let's say very simple piece that you play only in C major using only white keys. It's surprisingly how much do you need for this. I make here one short analysis. I will just say quickly. So respecting the big intervals, let's build on each degree of tonality, which has 7 degrees as we know for now. Let's build maximum chords with maximal tension. And you see here for C major, we can make 1/3, another third, another third, and one more third. It's C major 7 with tension 9. But we cannot put F anymore. Why? Because if we take F of 3 to 4, it wouldn't be good minor third with a D. If we take another F that is good minor third with D, that would be F of 20 to 27, it won't be any more good fourth with a C. So we have to end here and on first degree say maximum chord tension is C major 7 with tension 9. In the same way I did for all 7 degrees, as you can see here. It's maybe interesting to notice that if you want to build a chord on 5th degree, which is dominant chord, very important, it's the most important chord for harmony progression, you have to use different F, different A, and different C. You cannot even build the dominant chord with the dominant 7 if you use F of 3 to 4, because it won't be a good minor third with the, it won't be good minor third with the 5th. So that's why you have to use F of 20 to 27, A of 16 to 27. And C is not working anymore, because if you use C that is good minor third with A, it won't be good fourth with a G. So in this case, you are coming to a situation that you have, in fact 10 different tones. If you want to play music with white key, you have 2 different seconds. One of, sorry, is it too small? I will make it. Better. You have 2 different seconds, 9 to 8, 8 to 9. You have 2 different 4, 3 to 4, 20 to 27, and you have 2 different 6, 3 to 5, and 16 to 27. This is what I call, this is involved with syntonic tone, of course, you know, and this is what I call syntonic group. This is subdominant group and dominant group. All these 3 groups make, in fact, all of these 10 tones. And then, what is here interesting, because we are respecting the big intervals, I am able of using all possible chord inversions, and you see how many chords in this. This is now not important for this presentation. It's very big amount of chords that you can use only by using white keys. Probably it's a little bit complicated to show this in jazz ciphers for people who don't use jazz ciphers. In classical it's a different way of representing the chords with general bass and so. But it's much more simple if you use lattice and show this in lattice. I'm sure you all know what means lattice, 5-limit lattice or 7-limit lattice. Mr. Kochi were speaking about this last lecture. In fact, this is the 3-dimensional 5-interval limits lattice. Normally people are disregarding octave and writing it as a 2-dimensional only because of easier way of representing. But as you see, the black boxes are 1, this is 4th or 5th, and this direction is 3rd. And of course, the red one are 1 octave higher, and the gray one are 1 octave lower. But for the sake of easier presentation, it's normally to use only those blacks, and then we can think that octave is something that we have ability to take wherever we want. So from now on, we will show 5-limit lattice only in 2 dimensions because it's easier. And now these 10 tones that I was speaking about that are necessary to play only white keys are these 10 tones in fact. This is the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. So these are the quints and these are the thirds. The 3rd. And here you can see these 3 additional tones, which is make 10 altogether. This is what I call syntonic group, and this is tonality group. So, from this point of view, we can continue with something that I try to make as a like basic generator for playing the music and composing music and studying harmony only with the white keys. And that would be this. Everything is based only on two groups, and this is subdominant group and dominant group. Look, this is the chord that I was speaking about, with 6 tones. If we are in C major, this would be F major with the tension 9. This is a mistake, not 6, this should be 9, it's a printed mistake. And with tension sharp 11. If I disregard 9 and 11, I gain possibility to put the 6th on the top, and I have this chord group. So 2 basic chord group from subdominant group, and 2 basic chord from dominant group. G, with the 3rd, the 5th, the 9th, and the flat 7. And if I disregard the 9, I can put again the 6 on the top. Because if I use the 6 and the 9, they won't be good for it. It won't be 3 to 4. It will be wolf quint. Wolf fifth is in English, I don't know. Yeah. So we have these 2 basic groups and these 2 basic groups. And all inversion is what you get. So you see, on the 1st degree, you have 3 possible 5 tones chords with 1 which is 6. On 2nd degree, this. On the 2nd syntonic degree is this possible. On the 3rd degree, we have many, 4 possible chords with, of course, all inversions. And this here is what I call the 5-limit intervals harmony of the 1st order. So it is harmony based only on white keys, nothing else. Of course, if we want to build alternate chords, we have to go outside of tonality. And this is the next logical step, what I did here. These are all the pictures from the book. Maybe it would be a good idea. I can give it to you, and then you can send it to people watch a little bit while I'm holding the lecture. So this is what I was speaking on the beginning. Subdominant group and dominant group, with all possible inversions. Alteration on the same way with respecting big intervals and making modulation in these areas, I came to this shape of something what I call alternate chord group structure, 2 basic shapes with all possible inversions. And this is what I call the 5-limit intervals harmony of the 2nd order. And 5-limit intervals harmony of the 3rd order would be free chord group. It means, with simple words, you can play whatever you want, ear is only guide. But you have to then remember to pay attention about chord inversions, because if you guide yourself only by ear and making whatever chord group you won't be able to get all possible tensions and all possible inversions. So, I wrote some pieces that I'm analyzing in the 3rd chapter of the book, and also one very important place of the book is what I pay very much attention is the problem of syntonic coma and problem of syntonic shift while harmony progression. And I just want to show you some few examples from the book where I show, for instance, how this can happen in the chord progression. So this is the actual piece. This here is only harmony analyzed, what is used in this, and this is the 5-limit interval, that is position of the chords. The black means the root of the chord. So you can see here from this G to this D is syntonic shift. It's not perfect 4. It's corrupted with syntonic shift, but it's kind of indirect syntonic shift because it's not directed to the tone, it's the next tone. It's also in the separate voice. Here is the 1st voice and this is the 2nd voice. So this is not so horrible, but it should be taken care of this. It can happen also directly in the same voice, but still successively, as here. This G and this B flat is not perfect minor third. It's not 5 to 6. It's corrupted with syntonic shift. But it's in the same voice, but it's not happening simultaneously as in the chord. It's happening successively, so horizontally in the melody. It's also a little bit easier to hold and to handle. But, of course, here's also some example of the triads A7 alterated dominant chord. We have here 3 major triads. In this 3rd major triad, which is E flat major triad, this B is not in fact the B flat that it should be. So here is also syntonic shift. It can also happen in the same voice at the same time as in this example. This is also from one composition that I analyze in the book, where you see here is G of 9 to 10, and here is G of Sorry, B. Yeah, here is B of 3 to 4, and here is B of 20 to 27, and they are happening one after another. So this is almost the most direct syntonic shift, but of course the most direct syntonic shift is this example, where you play F sharp and G, but this is of course only piano notation, beware of it, I wrote it for piano. F sharp is in fact G of 9 to 10, and G is G of 8 to 9. So they are played together. You have syntonic shift simultaneously. This is the most aggressive example of handling syntonic shift. Why I was doing this? I wanted to make study of this 5-limit intervals harmony, because I know the equal temperament exists for 150, maybe 200 years. Why the composer didn't do it before? Because simply they said it sounds ugly. We don't like the sound. The major thirds are very bad, and it sounded much nicer in just intonation. That's why I wanted to write the music with a tonal harmony that sounds nicer than on equal temperament. I hope I did it, and for this I first had to choose, since piano has only 12 keys per octave, and this is my limitation. But it's interesting as an artist to work with limitation because it forces creativity or something like this. So I just took the infinitive lattice of 5-limit intervals and I choose those 12 tones for my compositions. And then, of course, before the compositions, you have to give some tuning instructions. And it's very easy. You just put on every key how many cents plus minus. You give the notation. As you can see, these 12 tones that I have used, they don't have B and F sharp. This is G of 8 to 9. And this is also G of 9 to 10. And it's marked with this kind of flat. And this is notation. This is the example of tones, of 12 tones, and these are the intervals. Here are intervals given in frequency ratios, so that's why I'm saying 9 to 10, and in fact it's 10 to 9 written, but because it's in frequency ratio. So these 5 pieces that you don't think I'm only writing a book and making theory about this, these 5 pieces I have recorded, and hopefully at the end of this year this CD will come out. It's called Music for Piano in 5-limit Just Intonation. I wrote these 5 pieces, and the American recording company called Parma Recordings, they will put it out at the end of this year in distribution of Naxos. So I hope that maybe next year we can have a CD promotion maybe here in Salzburg, and it would be nice to have you all here for this, because only we need one piano and to be retuned. So something else that I continue with working is, okay, we have one piano and then I can choose only these 12 tones from 5-limit lattice, which is infinitive. But okay, why can I write for 2 pianos? Then I have 24 tones in one octave. I don't think linearly anymore. How many tones do I have in octave? I think how many instruments can I have? If I have 2 pianos, I can tune them differently. One piano, another piano in different tuning. I have 24 notes per octave. And that's what I was writing now. It's one little study of music for 4 pianos or 4 keyboards, doesn't matter what. And this is the distribution of 4 pianos. This is the 5-limit lattice interval. You see, I gain here 42 tones per octave. If I put here another tone, I could have 43, but this was more than enough. So piano number 1 are black tones. This is distribution of the tones for piano 1. This red tones are distribution for piano 2. Blue tones for piano 3, and these tones for piano number 4. And you have 4 people playing. Each has his area. I'm putting totally normal notation for them, like in 12-tone music from Schoenberg, and they are playing the keys that they have, but in fact the keys are retuned by this. For instance, F is plus 14 cents, this F is plus 55 cents, but I have to know for which piano I'm writing. And I wrote one little study for this kind of distribution of 5-limit interval lattice. Here are the tones, here is the explanation of the accidentals, and the study is called E majors, because if you take a little bit closer look, there are 5 different E's here. This is one E. The second E, which is syntonic shift, syntonic comma higher, The third E, which is again syntonic comma higher. Here you have the fourth E, which is diachisma lower than this one. Diachisma is 2025 to 2048. And the fifth E, which is again syntonic comma lower than this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different E's. With this kind of palette for composing, I have 5 different E majors. So these are all E majors. And what I try to do with this little study, I try to start with this E major and slowly, in 4 voices harmony, to move for syntonic comma higher to this one. And I'm doing it very slowly, very smooth, with the 4 voices harmony. And when I come to this, it's really not possible to hear that our tonality has shifted for syntonic comma. Then I'm going from this one to this one, but a little bit more rough, not in 4 voices, but only in 3 voices. But again, it's not possible to hear that our tonality has shifted again for syntonic comma. But then what I'm doing, very brutally, going from this E major directly to this E major, directly to this E major, directly to this, and directly to this. And here everybody can hear how big way it is that we have passed through. And then from this E major, slowly, again with 4 voices harmony, going back to this E major. So I would like to just play, it's a short example of a study. Of course, I have video also for this study, so you can follow the harmony progression with this gray part. So the first chord is C major with sharp 11 with E in bass. So, and that's why these 3 tones. For instance, let's go somewhere here. Okay, this is only E major. Or let's go here. Here you have this sus. It means it has a 4th instead of 3rd with the tension 7 and 9. This is just ciphers, but you can see here the chord. And this is how this video works with the music. So. studies. As you can see here, how it's really not important anymore to think how many tones per octave I have. It's in fact important to think in a space what kind of area in a lattice I have. Is it 5 limit lattice, 7 limit lattice, 11, whatever it is. And to continue the nice regard from your well-known player, he's not here anymore, when he said tuning is free of charge. Of course, but to make study like this, you need to have keyboard and to hear every chord when you are working, unless you have a string quartet in your working room that can play every day, but that wouldn't be free of charge. And of course, I wanted to show here, go back to the beginning about this construction of alternate chord, how big possibility, in fact, you have within only 5 limit lattice in constructing dominant chord with alterated fifth, so it means augmented 4 or diminished fifth. If you take a look at this, sorry, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really simple. So this is the root, this is the third, and I could put the root here, everything in one line, but only because of having everything as a root, the third. And here I have the area of diminished fifth or augmented fourth, and here I have area of dominant 7. But I'm always respecting the big intervals, so it always has to be perfect major third. If I want to use dominant 7 of 5 to 9, I am forced to take diminished fifth of 25 to 36. If I want to use dominant 7 of 9 to 6, I am forced to take 45 to 40. If I want to use 75 to 125, I am forced to 6, 18 to 25. So there is a very big amount of microtonal modulation here that I was checking in 5 limit intervals, and I came only a little bit to 12 different dominant 7s, which I called here with the names from alphabet. But it's very interesting to look, for instance, the dominant 7 of 9 to 16. If you lower it for a syntonic comma, it's only 6 cents away from dominant 7 of 4 to 7. It's only 6 cents away, and I have these 12 different possible dominant 7. Of course, I have them even more. This is a major 6 and major 7, and this here is equal temperament and sense, so that you can see where it's which one of them, and this is example from the book. And it's a hard little bit when you look at them like this, but that's why I don't think linear. If you look at them in 5 limit lattice, it's very simple. So in this little study that I showed you, I was using this dominant 7 of 9/16, this dominant 7 of 5 to 9, and sometimes I was using this 2 dominant 7, but not so much. But look, here is all 12 dominant 7 that I showed you now before in 5 limit lattice. It's very simple. And now, if you want to, let's say, modulate from this tonal area to this tonal area, you can use dominant chord with this dominant 7, and then you can reach really, in full sense of the word, distance modulation and close modulation. So let's move from this area to this area. I will use this dominant 7. And of course, to work with this, for me it's not so hard, because I have this keyboard at home that was built in San Diego after my construction. They call it Z-board, not because of my name, Zoran, but because they use it as a logo for their firm. Star Labs, it's called the firm. They put name 24 times 24 is because it has 576 keys, and it's line 24 times 24. Of course, I wanted them to build them with white keys with no marks, but of course at home I put the marks on the keyboard. It would be very hard to orientate when it's all white. I put my marks on it, and I can change it and put some other marks. So this is things that I have, and usually I make lectures and a concert with it. I bring it sometimes to school, make workshop with the students. They can try on it to hear immediately how the harmony sounds. For playing on the stage, I still have a little bit troubles with the dynamic of the key, so I use just samples that don't have dynamic, like an accordion or something like this. And of course, everything is explained in the book that I am presenting today, 5 limit intervals theory and praxis. That would be all for me. If you have any questions or you need the contact for collaboration or information, you can get it on my web, myname.com, and I will be very happy to talk with you about it and to collaborate with you. Thank you very much for having this.
much more space for discussion in our plenary session later on. After Tolgahan, Çoğulu is the next to come to present this little lecture recital. Tolga was John Prince. It doesn't seem to be in the right order. What is this? That's a very it's not along the alphabet. Thank you. Sorry. He was the first prize winner at the 2014 Microtonal musical instrument competition, designed his adjustable Microtonal guitar in 2008. His first CD with Microtonal guitar, Atlas, was published in 2012 with Plenary music. His Microtonal and fretless guitar solo and lecture recital on Microtonal guitar music has taken him to many festivals and universities in 28 countries. He is building a repertoire for Microtonal guitar with more than 30 composers involved at this point. In 2013, Tolgahan Çoğulu became an associate professor in guitar at Istanbul Technical University, Turkish Music State Conservatory, where he had founded a classical guitar department in 2010. His latest CD, Microtonal Guitar Duo, has been published by Plenary Music in June 2015. And of course, we got to know Tolga again via Agustin. He was here already in Microtonal music in 2012. Welcome, Tolga.
I'm so happy to be here, and I would like to thank Agustin and Gertrude. I feel like home because, we are a small community of Microtonal musicians. So I've been in contact with many of you. So it feels like home, and I hope there will be more events like this because it's, unique events like this, gathering the community. So today I would like to talk about, I have 45 minutes. I will play 3 pieces. One is the premiere by Agustin, so I'm a bit excited about it. Let me start. I designed my adjustable Microtonal guitar in 2008, and since then I can play any kind of Microtonal music, as listed here. Gregorian, just intonation, mean-tone temperaments, equal tempered, like 19, 24, 31. Especially Microtonal folk music is my main area, playing, of course, the Microtonal music of Turkey, or the Middle East, or Indian ragas, Balinese, gamelan, etc., African music. And also, I'm also interested in some collaborations with electronics, Microtonal guitar. So I try my best to play all these genres, which is so much. So that's why I'm now teaching Microtonal guitar in Istanbul. So I have some masters and PhD students, so I'm distributing this course, and we are trying to work like a factory. So we are trying to build a repertoire for Microtonal guitar, which is quite new. So a little bit history, how I come up with my design. Can we play microtones on the standard guitar? Of course we can play. There are 6 techniques for this. The first one is bendings, and in the classical guitar repertoire, these are the composers that use bendings. So if you bend the string, it gets higher, and you got the microtones. So that's many players use microtones on the guitar with this method. Then we have, of course, the tuning of a string. I think I have to include your name here. So from now on, you will be listed in my lectures. Sorry to forget. So you can tune the string, and Brian Fermiou, in his famous Mozarteum, has this one of the first words for this. But one of the masters for this genre is Agustin. I think he pushes the limit of this technique into very extreme and did many things like great works you can see on YouTube with his method. So here's Agustin, a handsome photo I tried to choose from Google Images. Do you like it? Is it a good choice? Okay, I will keep it from now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a model. Do you like it?
So this is Agustin's system. If you pay attention, you can realize that there are 6 G strings on the guitar. So all the strings are G. And Agustin's compositional style, he is tuning them 1/6 apart. And also he, as I already told, he pushes the boundaries of the system. Like he is using E strings, same strings. He has quartets. He has many genres of work with this method. So I asked him if he would compose for me, and he composed this piece in honor of Richter Herr. And I will premiere this now, this piece. Now I'm going to play this with Agustin's guitar, because I don't want to break my own adjustable guitar. It's only one now in the world. Because as you will see soon, he uses some interesting techniques. So hope you like this premiere by us.
More?
I can't hear you.
I think.
I'm now cutting.
Yes. He hecho que le meta más. Now?
Where's Jan?
He come in 1 minute. No, he say already.
¿Seguro?
Sí. Te he dicho que tú subas aquí y ya está.
Eso es muy alto, va a empezar.
¿Ha dicho sube estos dos?
A ver. ¿Esto está mutado? No. Bájalo, ¿estaba ahí arriba?
No, estaba aquí. Ha dicho súbelo.
Lo ponemos donde estaba. Es que estaba mutado. ¿Dónde estaba? Que tú.
Estaba aquí, ¿no?
¿Is it okay now?
I'm tapping continuously.
Or maybe this is the one. Or maybe now? No?
Pero estos dos, ¿no?
Sí, pero es que ahora está mute.
Wait for Jan and tell me you do
I can continue if you want.
and then we do it later.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I need this one.
Yeah.
Hola, señores. Agustín.
Okay. So the premiere is
Nada, tío, no lo he hecho bien.
next for the next episode.
072
So
217.
one other method is you can plug behind the fretting fingers. Agustin used this yesterday on this great opera, so I have to include your name on this list, Agustin, because the lady plays from plugs, I think what was 11th act or 12th act, and it sounds really good. So you are not plugging this side, you are plugging it here, and it's all microtonal, and I like this effect. You can use, of course, device like Chris Thomas in Harry Potter plays with slide, electric slide. So in order to use all microtones. Horizontal vibrato is you just press your finger hard and move it left or right, so it's like bending, getting higher and lower. And of course the harmonics and multiphonics on guitar produces microtones. it's hard to switch between computers, so I have it set. Yes.
Unix? Doesn't work? I thought one.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, anyway, but of course these six techniques that I mentioned on the classical guitar, you can produce microtones, but for example, if you want to play Turkish music, piece, or just intonation pieces, these are limited techniques. So that's why I have a history of microtonal guitars, starting with an harmonic guitar in 1829. By Perry Thompson, and he has this idea: holes on the fretboard. So hundreds of holes to insert little frets as on my guitar and remove them. They are not movable. So as you can see, there are many holes, and the frets are inserted and then removed.
Was it done for you? You can sit
This
down.
is
Working anyway, so you can sit down.
Okay. So it's normal, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm free. Okay. So the second guitar is by René Lacote, very famous guitar luthier from France. This is very important for my design because this is the first guitar that has channels under each string. I see this guitar in the museum in Paris, but I couldn't photo it, was forbidden. But the frets can move in a very limited fashion. So there are wooden blocks, and the frets are in the middle. So the wooden blocks are like this, so you can move them like a little bit. And as I know, they can fall, the wooden blocks fall easily, fall off the fretboard. So it's, one of the first experiments by René Lacote. So this is important. Then we have quarter tone guitars, 24 per octave, or 36 tone guitars that we showed 2 days ago. These are equally tempered. Then we have parched guitars, as Chris showed a better image, but it was the same image. So and he played us this guitar. It was the first time that I listened. It was amazing. And this is the fretless guitar, but is it right that this is electric guitar too?
It's a bit confusing. He called it electric guitar 1 because he wanted to sort of start again. So the one on the right is electric guitar 1, and the one on the left is electric guitar 2.
Okay, so now I'm showing the frets, the one on the left, so it's right. Okay. Then Erkan Or, you can check his videos if you want to listen to polyphonic Turkish makam music of classical fretless. He has been playing this since 1970s, and now thanks to him we have a fretless guitar school in Turkey, and there are hundreds of fretless guitarists in Turkey, so all the followers of Erkan Or, and he has great music. So then we have this adding frets or fretlets. These are my frets, so this is my latest easy solution to play microtonal Turkish music on classical guitar. What I did is I just went to a luthier and made him cut the frets into smaller pieces, and then we removed the bottom layers because you insert it. So, but if you remove the bottom layer and file it, you can use your own classical guitar and tape these. And now with this method, I started teaching microtonal guitar at our conservatory high school in Istanbul by just taping these on the fretboard. And the kids are the high school students. They are not. It's easy. It's not hard to play this one. So we entered this into curriculum of the guitar teaching in Istanbul. For example, one of the folk music my student plays, it was here. Or to play Rast Makam in Ottoman music, you need this, which is a major pure third, -14 on the third string, and F sharp is -14 as well. So it's not just, but it's very close. But it's not me. Also, Iranian guitarist Ilya Ashar has been using this method, but she's not taping; she's inserting it, so it's fixed fret. to play Iranian music, like by composers like Visalì. This is my bağlama fretted. Microtonal guitar bağlama is a folk neck lute. We also call it saz. So I have this fixed fret, so that we can play as in a duo. I play with my guitar, and my friend plays with this. This is one of my other guitars. It's based on a system of a composer called Ozan. You can see his last name over there. And he has this polyphonic Turkish makam music system. But of course, it's a bit complicated to play this. But now I have some videos on YouTube, so I'm playing polyphonic microtonal atmos music, let's say. And there are some pure intervals in the system, and the intervals that has been used in the atmos music as a tradition. Or we have electric guitar versions. This is the from Berkeley. This is the True Temperament guitars that I never played, but you know, I think they have a company and they are selling these guitars. And also we have these Tom Stones guitars with movable, interchangeable fretboards. Joe Schneider has been using this since 1970s. It's a great method, I think. You have fretless, quarter tone, Pythagorean, mean tone, all different designs. And it's with magnets you can insert it. And of course, as a microtonal guitar pioneer, I have to tell John Schneider's name. He always helps us, also Chris told us that. And luckily, he got the Grammy this year with Harry Part's CD. So that's, I think, great turning point for the microtonal music as well. As I know, this is the first time in the history that microtonal music CD gets the Grammy. So I think we enter a new era, maybe that microtonal music can get popular. So John Schneider has great CDs like this. He plays all kinds of fixed fret microtonal guitars. Then this is my last inspiration. This is Walter Vogt, a German luthier, is the second luthier that used the channel idea that started with René Lacote. So here, as you can see, the frets are not straight; they are zigzagging. Because this is a ultimate solution for guitar's tuning problems. You know, guitar is an imperfect instrument. Even if you pay 20,000 euros to small money guitars from Australia, and if I have a tuner and check it, it's not 0, it's -5, +3. So that's guitar. That's our destiny. But Walter Vogt changed this in 1985 with this great design, and he got the patent. And then this was my main inspiration, but then I never had the opportunity to play this design. But John Schneider has this one, and he told me that the main difference with my guitar that I'm going to show you now and this one is on this guitar you can't add frets on the fretboard from over the fretboard. So if you want to add more frets, you have to remove all the frets off the fretboard and load more. So this is it's an impractical design for this one. Also, you can remove them. So as I told you, you have to remove them all off the fretboard. So that's how my idea enters the scene. But maybe Jan is here. So before I get to adjust my guitar, I will go back. So, again, and standard guitar, but with Agustin's method, it's microtonal, and now I'm gonna premiere this piece in honor of Victor Herr. If the microphone works now.
The microphone works.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
This is a microtonal mic.
And we have these strings which are tuned, as I told, 1/6 apart. This is Agustin's approach, but the others are same music. G, B, E. So after I break the Agustin's beautiful guitar with his permission, I was a bit gentle, but he said no, brutally, and on the score it says vivo brutalico, something like that. So so in the Microtonal, in my guitar version, it should be less brutalico, please. So okay, now I will move. Yeah, my adjustable microtonal guitar. Let me briefly introduce the guitar. So all the frets are movable, all of them on the fretboards along the channels. So let me move this one. So. So you can move all of them, and the main difference than the White Folk system, I can remove anyone, like fishing, like try to catch. Also removing a bullet from, in the movies. So, and I can insert them wherever I want. And it stays, there, so it's not loose now. So I designed this in 2008 as a PhD project in Istanbul Technical University, and I was lucky because the university funded that project, and the Istanbul-based luthier Ekrem Özkarpat made what I want, and so since then, I've been arranging pieces. I'm not a composer, but I've been arranging especially Turkish, Ottoman, Anatolian, Kurdish, Armenian, polyphonic microtonal pieces, but also many composers are composing for this piece. So this is some composers from all around the world, like Johnny just composed in 128 tuning, Donald used some macrons, allowed Matthew use in just intonation 5 limit, but it has also some 7 limit parts, and it can modulate into 3 different modes. So it's and also Nicolà composed Taurus in quarter tone, and composers have been writing for this instrument, and this is my purpose. Now I have this Microtonal guitar department in Istanbul, and I have some master and PhD students. So as I told you, we are working and recording these pieces, so we want to build a big, huge repertoire of microtonal music on guitar. These are Turkish composers that write in many different, again, tunings. So let me play some pieces with my guitar. Of course, I will play some Ottoman Turkish piece. So the theory is, in this music, a whole tone is divided into 9 pieces, but in practice this is not right. So this is a big debate in Turkey. So in theory, yeah, they did like this, but you can play many different microtones in between whole tones. So this is not so correct. But this is nice in terms of the accidentals that has been used since 19th century. So these are the sharps and flats that has been used in Turkey since 19th century. So we have these 1/9 divisions. And also our folk instruments have these microtones. This is a folk neck lute bağlama. And as you can see, it has tight frets like lute or vihuela. And you can see the microtones over there. And the pieces that I'm going to play is from the bağlama repertoire. So I will play the microtones that has these, you can see on the fretboard. But if you want to play Ottoman music, Ottoman Turkish music, for example, this tambur is one of the main lutes for this music, and you can see it's more complicated. and it has many different intervals. In addition to the main intervals, some of them are just pure, like just variation, some of them are not. So in Istanbul, my life at the university is passing like this, visiting my colleagues next door and trying to measure all the sounds of these frets so that I can play them on my guitar with the clear tune in my hand. Or this common player, Serkan. Here I would like to show you what I recorded 2 or 3 weeks ago from this common players. So because it will show you the microtones present in Ottoman music. No, we don't have sound. Yeah.
To shoot this sound. The player has no volume, yes.
Okay.
Okay, but still.
So it's getting lower here. Then, if you want to get higher, $0.19 each pack. And the small melody motif. So as you can see, of course, it's not used in Turkish music like so it's used in another way. And when you get higher, it uses specific microphones. When you get lower, it was getting lower with some glissandos, sudden 3 or 4 packs change. So it's very interesting. So now I'm trying to arrange this repertoire into Microtonal. So I need 10 years or 15 years for this project, only for this one. So as you can see with my tuner, I try to measure these intervals. On the B string it was, when it gets lower, 18, 35, 50, so like 17, 15, 18, so it's not a MIDI instrument, so it changes, it's an acoustic instrument. But when I measure other, so it has some deviations, natural deviations, like -2 or 3, but I have a logic. This is the logic of the column. But I want to play you a piece by Šćekić. He's like troubadour of Anatolia. He's a point musician. He has thousands of songs and everyone in Turkey knows him. So I'm going to play one of his pieces, then we can talk about it. Microphones on the scale. So it's like a Dorian mode, but you have 2 microphones on the 2nd and 6th degrees, which are 35 cents lower. And then the 6th degree. And Ricardo Moyano, my friend, tuned this in Scordatura, of course. C sharp, C sharp, then E, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, because the tuning is on F sharp, the tonic is, then B. I want to play another tune in different makam so that I can show you how I make the adjustments. This is in different makam. So here, the melody. Okay, the melody in the tradition, the piece starts like this. But actually it doesn't start like this because this is normal guitar playing. So it needs a microtone on this third. Here it needs a microtone. So I do this one and this one third. So now, so this is the traditional way to play this piece. And if you don't play this in Turkey, it's out of tune for 70 million. So this is, listening to a habit. Because I am saying this because under my videos in YouTube, I have to write an article about this. Under one of below one, there are more than 1,000 comments, and it's like a clash of East and West. Some guys say, "Oh, this is rubbish. This is out of tune. Why are you playing?" And some other guys are defending me, like, "Oh, this is a different culture. We have to understand." So this is out of tune for the Turkish people. And some other people say that equal tempered elements, 12 tunes are out of tune because it's not based on harmonic series, as we all talking here. So there are some three big sides there. So I like to analyze now. I like to read those comments. So I made these arrangements and I use a different score as well. And one other thing about this folk tune is it makes the trills on from half tones to the microtones. So the trills are like these ornaments. They are not like this. This is a piano or normal guitar trill. But so these kind of ornaments are very common in Turkey as well. Okay, so the tuning is D, A, D, A, B flat D. So it's like a Phrygian feeling. This is the first time that I play this piece without a foot stand. You know, I'm a classical guitarist, so I forgot my foot stand. So I did this a little hard. It was challenging for me. So, but it went okay. So, how many minutes do I have? 5 minutes. Okay. In 5 minutes, I want to summarize what I did other than the Turkish music. Just summarizing. One English composer, Christopher Charles, composed me a Balinese gamelan music for this guitar. He analyzed the Balinese pentatonic scales, like pentatonic pelopselisir, with these cent deviations. And I tuned my open strings, my 8 strings, also accordingly. Or like, I tuned my 6th string F minus 15, something like that. And in order to play this piece in Balinese tuning, I adjusted my frets accordingly. Let's just hear the beginning. Can we have more volume? Okay. You know, it's on YouTube. If you are interested, there are many different variations, so interesting parts in other parts of the song. Then, of course, I'm interested in these tunings, especially just intonation, which is my favorite tuning because it's the ideal natural sounds. So, I, of course, to learn just intonation, I first played the rehearsals pieces. I played this 5-minute piece. Serenade, and I fall in love with just intonation, especially 5 minutes, like Zoran told us. And when I was watching your presentation, I had some ideas, trying to play your progressions with my guitar, so you know we can create some video series. Harmony on 5-minute just intonation. Okay, so in order to play 5-minute just intonation, your frets should be adjusted like this. Then I was lucky that my teacher's teacher, Alado Matthew, based in California, he composed a piece for me. I think that's a very important piece. Next time, if there's another symposium here, 2 years later, maybe I will just analyze this piece and talk about it, because this is a piece that can modulate in 3 different areas in just intonation. Because my guitar is 8-string, Aladdin takes took advantage of this guitar, and we adjusted all the frets in these 3 main modes: C mode, the purple one, D mode, and E mode. And also he put some quarter tones and septimal tones in the system, and he composed me a 3-movement suite, 20 minutes. And we recorded this, and he's gonna publish a CD in early 2016 in the United States. So all the cent deviations and the guitar gets crazy, but it was hard to play, but you know, when you get used to it, you can manage. Then I also play Pythagorean tuning, of course, with pure fifths and fourths. Again, thanks to Harrison's sonata in Microtonal, based in A minor with just pure fifths and fourths. So here is the fretboard for this piece. And then I also play some mean tone temperaments. This is my favorite one, quarter comma mean tone temperament, because as I read some articles, I learned that the Renaissance, the harpsichord music in the Renaissance is mostly based on this system, quarter comma. So you know, today's pianists should play all the Renaissance repertoire in this tuning. They should. So that you know, you can play this. For example, this Narvaez's piece, he composes for vihuela, and on vihuela they move the frets a little bit. And also I heard that they put some additional frets in some articles by Galileo. He Hastings were inserted onto the vihuelan roots. So in order to play this piece on quarter comma, this is the fretting, and we don't have time, but I love I prefer, of course, this tuning rather than equal temperament. And also, I'm interested in equal temperament microtonality. I played Haba's Suite No. 2 for quarter tone guitar with this notation, and of course, I put all my additional frets onto the middle quarter tones. To finish with, last summer in Croatia, I attended the festival, and Philip, a great saxophone player, and now he's creating great quarter tone jazz pieces. You can check his website. So he composed a piece for me, and maybe we can hear a little bit, because I really love this piece. I thought, you know, I don't like quarter tone music for my personal taste, but now I started loving that music. It's this piece.
Thank you very much for this wonderful. Now we are coming to the last symposium, and I must tell you, I'm so happy about all these presentations and contributions. And before somebody has to leave, but I hope we are not, because I'm sure we're going to have a very interesting discussion now and time to discuss. But before I forget, please don't hesitate to contact us, to contact me. If you come to Austria again, I can't offer you the sea as the Eastern Southern European people have here, but for times like this, I can offer you the coolest lake in Lake Trounsee, which is to cool down in Ebensee where I live, and you can pass by whenever you like here. Don't hesitate to sort of stop by in my place. Now we come to the Dominik Šedivý. He was born in Halle, Tyrol. He's Austrian, but he grew up in Bavaria. And although he is mainly a music theorist and musicologist, he also did studies in classical guitar, composition and choral conducting. His doctoral thesis was completed in Vienna in 2006 and awarded with the first prize for dissertations of the year 2006-2007 of the Musicological Institute of Vienna University. The thesis topic was the compositional techniques originating from the theories of the Austrian dodecaphonic composers Josef Matthias Hauer and Ottmar Steinbauer. Dominik's main fields of research are Southern German and Austrian music and theories of the 18th up to the 20th century, harmonics and music philosophy. He is editor-in-chief of Musicologica Austriaca, a journal for Austrian music studies, which is the official journal of the Austrian Musicological Society. He's a very important man, I think. You should get in contact with him. Under his direction and with a generous grant from the Austrian Science Fund, Musicologica Austriaca went online as an open access online journal this year. He has lectured at the universities of Vienna, Klagenfurt and Salzburg. As a composer and choir conductor, his works were performed, or he performed them, in Germany, Austria, Italy, Czechoslovakia, Republic, Hungary and the United States. Welcome, Dominik.
The largest and comprehensive book collection on harmonics in Austria. However, there seems to have been little direct exchange between both institutes in the past. Perhaps some people can tell us more later about this. This little exchange might be due to differing focuses. Please forgive me if I oversimplify. The Richter Health Institute was rather specialized in microtonality and ecumenic music, and particularly under the direction of Horst Peter Hesse, acoustic research. The Hans Keiser Institute, however, while carrying on the tradition of its eponyms and Namensgeber, focused on historical and theoretical research on harmonics as a transdisciplinary meta-subject. Its major field included the Pythagorean tradition of music theory and its interrelation to philosophy, as it, for instance, has been handed down by the works of Plato, Cicero, Vitruvius, Boethius, and other authors of antiquity. As for the Middle Ages and subsequent centuries, research has been undertaken particularly with regards to the works of Ramon Lull, Robert Fludd, Athanasius Kircher, and above all, of course, Johannes Kepler, whose major work, the Harmonices Mundi, from the year 1619, can well be considered the major harmonical treatise of its era. As for modernity, a critical reception of the works of Albert von Thimus and Hans Keiser has been undertaken. Thimus, he was already mentioned yesterday by Johannes Kochi. He published a comprehensive two-volume work, The Harmonical Symbolism of Antiquity, in 1868 and 1874. A third volume remained unpublished due to the author's death in 1878. Hans Keiser, 1891 to 1964, released his extensive studies in a large amount of books, including his extraordinarily voluminous Lehrbuch der Harmonik in 1915. As some of you might be aware, the Viennese Center for Harmonics was, until recently, the only and holds the only professorship in the world for harmonic research as a whole. Due to department policy, the chair has not been accordingly reoccupied after retirement of Professor Werner Schulze in 2014, which then resulted in the final closure of the institute. I would like to take the opportunity to discuss the issue at this symposium with you now. It is an obvious fact that amongst the scholarly community, the common acceptance of harmonic research has disappeared almost completely. This is very much due to the popularity of harmonical and pseudo-harmonical issues in esoteric and New Age-related popular scientific literature by authors such as, for instance, Joachim Ernst Behrendt, the author of Nada Brahma and the Third Ear, or by Hans Cousteau, very well-known book by him, such as The Cosmic Octave, Origin of Harmony, and other ones. On the other hand, proper harmonical research usually is not adequately noticed. This is obviously due to the high demands upon the reader. For instance, you might not have a full reading pleasure when studying the 900-page work of Albert von Thimus if you are unable to read 19th century scholarly German, English, French, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and at last a little ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, because he, of course, provides no translations at all. In addition, it is indispensable for the successful understanding of this work to have extensive knowledge, at least in advanced music theory, mathematics and ancient history, Christian and Jewish theology and classical philosophy. Additional backgrounds, however, in classical architecture are not necessary, but they are beneficial. Otherwise, you could of course try to bite through the additional 200 pages of explanatory commentaries, for instance, by Richard Hasenclever, dated back to 1870, or by Leopold Spitzer in a huge work from 1978. If you're going to study to the scholarly works of the astronomer Johannes Kepler, the music theorist and mystical philosopher Hans Kaiser, or just to name an Austrian-based present-day researcher, the art historian and architectural theorist Wolfgang Strohmeyer, the situation is somewhat comparable, although perhaps not quite as extreme as it is with the works of Albert von Timus. Other reasons for the common loss of acceptance can certainly be found in the evident present-day tendency of music research in Austria towards pure historic research on the one hand and cultural studies on the other, which are accompanied by a severe decline of scholarly competence in theory and music theoretical methods on the one hand, and therefore, of course, of scholarly approaches both to music and theory itself as the objects of investigation. The significant quantitative disparity between musicology and music theory intensifies the problem. So, what are my questions to the plenum and for the discussions? I just want to name some of them. Does the subject have any chances for survival as a reputable scholarly discipline in the present time at all? How could it look like? Or since harmonics is a transdisciplinary meter subject related not only to music theory but at least also to philosophy, possibly its theology, perhaps architecture and acoustics, who would it be addressed to and what are the neighbored disciplines? Then does the present university scene even allow or possibly support a subject like this? Who would benefit from harmonical studies and what kind of university could it possibly be based on? Related to this, of course, the questions: is it at all a scientific, a historical, a music theoretical, or a philosophical discipline? What are these disciplines' intrinsic methods of research? And at last, what kind of academic research could possibly be committed in that field? Prior to opening the discussion, I would like to give you 8 thoughts and theses about this. By intention, I am going to argue from a strictly rational and scholarly viewpoint in the hope to open the scope for critical reply. So I hope to be provocant enough with my thesis. First issue: it is a major problem of the field to have no intrinsic scholarly methods defined. Second, furthermore, it is a strange fact that people often revert to harmonics in the attempt to answer fundamental questions that most probably will never be answered by music theory or philosophy or any discipline at all. These questions particularly include, but are not limited to, the following, such as: what is the origin of the universe? What is the sound of the universe? What is the origin of music at all? What, who, or where is God? What is the essence of nature? What is the essence of human soul? Does the universe have a soul? Where does humanity come from? All these are very fundamental questions that have been very important to people all the time and over millennia, but they are certainly not a subject for music theory. We can abbreviate this and put on a list of questions that never should be tried to be answered with harmonics. We can put on this list all questions that start with: what is the origin of blah blah blah? Is there a common origin of blah blah blah? Or what is the what is the nature of blah blah blah? Third, harmonics as a scholarly discipline would therefore considerably benefit from clarifying one particular question, which is: which topics and issues are definitely not its concerns? Fourth, its chance of survival lies A. in a clear separation from natural scientific questions and methods on the one hand, and B, on the other hand, in a definition of its own objectives and methods. Fifth issue, it can gain legitimacy and as a it can gain legitimacy as a philosophical discipline, though, focusing on history and theory in particular, possibly even in terms of a musica speculativa in the Edo sense. Sixth, major scholarly contributions today may be possible in editorial and commentarial works with regards to the corpus of its literature. Seventh, the major aims of harmonics as a taught course in a curriculum would be cultural education on a general and on an interdisciplinary basis. In addition, it should specifically encourage the development of critical thought. And eighth and last thought on this, opportunities of present-day harmonics in terms of interdisciplinary research lie in the digital humanities, where researchers of different fields approach from different perspectives, and they need not to talk with each other. While this may sound sarcastic, I'm actually serious about it. Let us be reminded that different disciplines have different methods, focuses, and different viewpoints. We often actually have no idea what to talk with each other, apart from being aware that we sometimes work with the same sources. A mathematician, of course, has an entirely different understanding of Kepler's Harmonicis Mundi than a music theorist or a classical philologist. So if you're still unsure about why I'm bringing this discussion here up to you during this symposium, here's the point. In my opinion, we should be aware and learn from the Viennese example, as we are facing similar developments of research and musical research in Salzburg. However, I see opportunities in terms of both scholarly and artistic research here and also for the Richter Institute. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to a vivid discussion.
Thank you, Dominik. Now, who strongly disagrees with some of his points? Who is completely just agrees with some of his points? Any questions? Yeah? Yeah.
Dominik, you have a lot of questions and they're hardly up to answer just now. For only not 8 questions, but division of others, about 30 questions. So first I can say, from my experience, Hans Kaiser had lived most of his time in Switzerland, and there existed a long time the Hans Kaiser Gesellschaft in Zurich in Switzerland, and what's ever in time, people get elder, and now only some people resting from this society. But in Germany, had founded a new group called the Harmoniczentrum Germany, Center of Harmonics in Germany, and I will be next weekend there in Nuremberg, where we meet together to a next session, and Harmonic is continuing. It had a great time when the Harmonic Center of Europe had been in Vienna, and even Switzerland, Hans Kaiser Gesellschaft, where in this society I had been to perform compositions and to make speeches, and that existed, but there's a new beginning now. It's a new beginning. And when you ask, it's interdisciplinary. Whatever could be interdisciplinary than harmonics? There isn't. It's philosophy, it's nature science, it's astronomy, mathematics, medicine, even, as I told you from Gerhard Lange yesterday, the neural researchers now. I think that is a great future for harmonic, and I think we are at the beginning now, just now. And the best would be, in the end of this symposium, we will found a new harmonic society in Austria, or European society, or Society of Harmonics of the world. That could be the starting point now, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Just one reply to this. The question is not how to continue, but how and in which frame to commit research.
Yes. Frames.
Yes, what are the frames for research? So, what structures could be used for academic research in that field?
That's not my field. You should know how to practice that. Why not? It depends from money, of course, and from the goodwill of government and other institutions, of course. But I think there is a public interest in these things, a big interest, and it's our task to bring that into the public. Books and music and all the things, so that there's a public interest in harmonic again.
Well, I would say the public interest never existed, but we do have the discrepancy between popular science on the one hand and pure research on the other hand, which usually is not accessible to the public due to its demands.
Yeah, but if there had been no science or humanities is science, yes. There would not be ever in our time if there is no interest in that. The industry has no interest in humanity.
Sorry, I have one question for you. Is there any relation between the two questions that you provide? One question is there a future for harmonics?
Yeah.
And other question that you ask is how to make academic research in harmonics. Are these two questions related, like causality? If there is no academical research, there is no future. Are you connecting them like that? Or it's separate?
That's a good question.
Well, the main issue is, can it survive as an academic discipline?
Can harmonics survive as an academic discipline?
Yes.
So this is the first question that put these two questions together.
Yeah, without any doubt, it will continue as a field that is maybe a hobby to many people, which even can be a major theme for research, but being placed in the academic world.
So, do you think that today jazz is put in the academic world?
I would say yes.
Yes, and I would say unfortunately. But that's only one opinion.
Yes, I can understand it.
So, it's a living music and it needs some time to come to academic world. Classical music itself, it was not on the beginning in academic world. It was in the beginning dancing music, in fact. The names are rondo, menuet, and so on. It's named dances. Later it became academical music. So I think that microtonal music will become academical eventually, one day. It's only important that it lives and that people, in my opinion, understand that today exists more microtonal music than music that we are not calling microtonal. Maybe awareness of this is very important. 99% of ethno music is microtonal. In fact, 100% ethno music is microtonal.
And that's another discipline to compare the musical cultures of the world and the music it produced. That's another.
That's maybe good base for academic research. Maybe they can start with ethnomusicology and make a little bit deeper research in tone material of ethno music. And that's the entrance for academic research.
This was just the theme, topics that I had suggested from the Mozarteum High School 5 years ago to 6 years ago.
retreat, you refound the Institute for Harmonics.
With this task, with this new task, yes. But nothing happened.
It seems not that there are too many ecologists in this university.
That's how musicology is something different from music of Mozarteum, isn't it? But I wanted to tell you another story. When I was a student at Mozarteum, my first composition I presented to my teacher contained the Nature 7, and he was very angry about that. It's not fine-tuning, and it's not allowed and such like. And I wrote a letter to Rudolf Hase, who was
she was the director
of the Hans Kaiser Institute in Vienna. And as I knew, Rudolf Hase had produced in his time as director a lot of books with harmonic intervals, and not any interval contained the number 7. And I asked him in my letter why is exclosed the number 7, and he told me an answer. I am too old to answer to your question. And that's and that was the situation in Vienna before Werner Schulze took over in the seat.
I can tell you the real reason later.
You can tell it.
This is a very good sentence to finish. I'm too old. Maybe it's too late to answer all these questions, but Dominik, thank you very much for your critical questions. I have a suggestion. We can, as I always arrange the symposium of a few talks, presentations, and then coffee and discussions, we could sort of continue this tradition. And I know a very cool place, but don't tell anybody else. It's the bar in Bristol, and it's really very, very nice. It's very cool, and we can meet there if you want, and if you have the time and have talks and have a beer or so. And we can also discuss in small groups. So maybe now we come really to the last minute, and I would like to thank you, everybody, to have come here and have presented things, have the compositions that have been performed, all the helpers in the back, where's Agustin?
Yeah.
Agustin and his Spanish combo were around all the time. Thank you very much. Agustin said he is going to cook paella on Friday. If you want to postpone it to the cool Lake Egensee, you're very welcome. Come to my place, and we have happy swim as well. Although we don't have the sea, I'm sorry, but it's quite cool, Lake Chante. So thank you very much, and stay in contact. Don't hesitate to contact me for all sorts of reasons. And now, Monica, this is yours.
I really a very, very big energy for everything. And instead of flowers, I have brought you a photograph from Francis.
Oh, that's right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.